Hi there, my name's Rob Hilton, and we've been thoroughly enjoying Zoo to You, visiting Church for All at Ettley Heath. Now, we've been thinking about animals, meeting some animals, and I wonder if we can think of any animals in the Bible, any animals that feature in any of the Bible stories. There are, of course, all the animals in the story of Noah's Ark, when Noah took 2 of every kind of animal and 7 pairs of some of the animals into the ark while there was a flood. Then there are lions, hyenas, frogs, rock badgers. I was a minister of a church where they had a youth group once who always used to make joke of the rock badgers that were in the Psalms. I'm not sure why, but teenagers are like that at times, aren't they? Then, of course, there are sheep. I think sheep are some of the most famous animals in the Bible, because some of the main characters, like King David, was a shepherd. God is referred to as the shepherd. The Lord's my shepherd, as the people reflect on the fact that God is like a shepherd who cares for all the people. And Jesus, of course, himself said, I am the good shepherd. Jesus also called himself, and other people referred to him as the Lamb of God. So sheep get a big feature in the Bible. There's birds, sparrows, 2 more animals that feature at the end of Noah's Ark story, of course, are the dove and the raven. When Noah thinks the flood is over, he sends a raven out of the window and it flies round and round and round, but it can't find any trees to land on or anywhere to land. So it came back to Noah, who thought, oh well, the floodwaters haven't gone down yet enough. He then sent out a dove, and the dove flew round and round like the raven did and came back. And then Noah sent it out again, and it didn't come back until it found a tree to settle in the branches of, and then to bring in its mouth, in its beak, a little twig of one of the trees, which proved to Noah that the floodwaters were going down and the end of the flood was in sight. So dove, raven, sheep, lots of animals in the Bible. One of my favourite animals, and we met an owl at Zoo to You when they came and visited Church for All, and the owl was called Jelani. It's an African, I think, type of eagle owl, and Jelani means mighty one, and he was a very majestic and beautiful owl that was sat on his keeper's arm in the service when we met him by Zoom. And one of my favourite owls, well, it's only a picture of an owl, is this one. It's an owl that was, it's a picture of an owl that was made for me by a woman who's an old family friend and a friend of my parents, who was a dressmaker. She was very skilled at making things out of material, and she made this owl for me. Because, as you can see from the picture, the owl is the symbol of the city of Leeds. And Leeds is the city I went to when I was 18 and I left home to go and study. And I went to the city of Leeds and got used to the owl being the symbol of that city. And then also, as you'll see from the embroidery that was made for me, when I was ordained as a minister, when I became a Methodist minister in 1994, the Methodist Conference was meeting that year in Leeds. So once again, I was reunited with the Leeds owl. And that animal, the owl, is a symbol of wisdom, isn't it? And of patience. When Jelani, the owl, visited Zoo to You, we heard how an owl has 2 ears, one on the top corner of its head and the other on the bottom corner of its head. And what you see sticking up from an owl is often just feathers that are there to help it blend into the trees, which are often its background. They're not its ears at all. So these ears, one side of its head and one the other, enable an owl to sit very quietly and very patiently, waiting to hear its prey. Perhaps a small bird in a nest above it, or a mouse on the ground underneath the tree the owl is sitting on, and with its very good ears, an owl can wait patiently to hear where its dinner is going to appear from. So an owl is a symbol of patience, of waiting, but also of great wisdom, I think, because owls keep their heads so still and have very big eyes. They've become a symbol of wisdom. Two things that I, as a Christian and as a minister with the symbol of the owl, wanted to take as my example. I thought if I can become wise and if I can be a very patient person, I might be a good Christian and maybe even make a good minister. So that's why this owl, for me, has been a symbol of something of what my faith, my Christian faith, and my Christian journey through life means to me. But I suppose if we're to go back to Bible animals, perhaps the most famous is the donkey. Now, you all might be thinking what I once thought and making a huge mistake. The donkey in the Christmas story, the donkey that Mary rode when she went to Bethlehem to give birth to the baby Jesus. Now, let me let you into a secret and a very embarrassing mistake I once made as a minister. One Christmas, for the Christingle service in the church, I decided that we would have a real live donkey as we remembered the story. So I phoned up a man who lived nearby who'd got a pet donkey and a trailer, and he was willing to bring the donkey into the church service. I thought this was going to be great fun. And we got a lady in the church who was also very excited, so she got some new rubber gloves and a big bucket and a scoop and a brush in case the donkey misbehaved and pooped in church, and we got some material to put on the ground just in case the donkey made a mess. So we made all the arrangements and the donkey was due to come to church. And then I thought, well, for planning for the service, I better just look up in the Bible and make sure I've got the reading that tells the story of the donkey carrying Mary to Bethlehem. And when I looked in the Bible, I found it's not there. The Bible stories of Christmas do not have Mary riding a donkey. They have Mary going to Bethlehem, so we just assume she rode a donkey when we tell the story in our nativity plays. So there's a useless bit of information for you. There is no donkey in the Christmas stories in the Bible. But there is, of course, a very famous donkey connected to Jesus in the Bible story of Palm Sunday, the day when Jesus rode a donkey as he journeyed into the city of Jerusalem the week before he died on Good Friday, and the Easter story that we remember. And Jesus chose to ride a donkey because a donkey is a very peaceful animal. It's a very slow and gentle animal, not known for causing trouble. And certainly if you were going to be a mighty king riding into battle and leading your armies, you would not ride a donkey. And that's what some people expected Jesus to be, a mighty king who would lead an army and defeat all his enemies. But Jesus said, the kind of king I am is a very different king. I come as the king of peace. So he rode a donkey. And the image, the story, the picture of Jesus riding a donkey into Jerusalem gives us an idea of what God is like, gentle and peaceful and coming into the midst of the crowds in a very peaceful and gentle way. But there's a certain sense of majesty, of awe, of Jesus being somebody as he rides that donkey. And if you read those Bible stories, you'll find that Jesus then goes on to his own suffering and death on the cross, and then his resurrection. All of the Easter story that we remember starts with Jesus riding a donkey into Jerusalem. God bless for now. Bye-bye.